Alright, Tim, welcome back to the Korra vlogs. Sorry it took so long. He's been sick,
Wait. No, this one's not on me.
No.
I've been fine for the last
if you've seen the Man of Steel review that had like fucking music videos and animations and crossovers, so you can see why stuff's been busy. But we are back in Rob's office, and pretty much what we're gonna do, because most of you have seen the last 4 and they ran like 2 of them together and then the last 2 online like the same day or something like that. Like, we're just gonna do them all in one big go, like the big finale here pretty much.
What's so funny is because I watched these a while ago. What happened before the finale? You're gonna have to remind me.
I mean, yeah, I just saw them all like today, so
because I saw those 2 episodes, the 1 hour long episode, like a while ago, and then the finale's also an hour long. So I'm trying to remember what.
Well, what's so funny? I just saw them, and I'm kind of trying to remember what happened.
I remember what happened in the finale.
No, not the finale. The before it though. No, the big thing that stands out about him is that Bolin. Kai saves the day, which is nice. It's nice to see him get, you know, he fights against, like, the movie screen stuff, and it's funny, and it's cool. I love the announcer announcing what's going on.
The president.
Without the microphone. Okay. Yeah, so...
okay, now I know. Okay,
yeah, and they're trying to kidnap the president. He kind of saves the day. You know, I never really read that much into... Toph's daughter being like, you know, oh, what's wrong with you? Come on, except when there's no security around the president, what the hell? And she's like, what's going on here? I'm like, well, yeah, you should have security around the freaking president.
I remember on my public Facebook page writing that as much as I loved a number of things that happened in this episode, there is some serious what the hell.
Yeah,
there were so many things I really enjoyed, like in particular, like Bolin helping to save the day. I really liked that. I liked, if I remember correctly, what they were doing with Korra. But Lin Bei Fong, what? It's almost like this was written by a set of writers that had not really fully watched season 1.
Yeah, and then when they say, like, you know, well, Mako called it all along, and she's like, yes, he's a real hero. I'm like, oh boy, that's a
good job, Mako. And I'm like, what? I'm like, are you? And, you know, the fact that I couldn't even call the other cops crooked cops. They were just incompetent.
Yeah, and she's like, well, we have 2 new openings for detectives. Like, should be 3, you dumb little... It's like, you should be like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And, like, she should just resign to put Mako in charge.
I get it. I know it happened. End of season 1, Amon also took her competence. he mind-bended her confidence out of her.
It's like, yeah, what the hell? But that's stupid, but we've been bitching and moaning about that. So, I mean, that's what happens in that episode.
But it is annoying, because she really was a major character. I mean, think about all she did in season 1.
Yeah, now she's just the chief. You've gone too far this time.
This is not a small player. This was a major character that, quite frankly, I just feel the writers have no clue what to do with. I find it actually insulting what they've been doing with Lin Bei Fong. Like, she was such a great character, more so now even than Korra, because at least Korra's redeemed herself, and all we get here is a, good job, I knew you had it all along, and I'm like, really?
Yeah,
really?
No,
like, I just wanted to literally rewind to the point where she's like, get the hell out of here, Mako. You're just gonna be
I knew all along, it's all part of my grand plan.
You're gonna be a beat cop and nothing more. By the way, I want to be detective now.
We have 2 new openings. These cops that I trusted, like, cold-heartedly, like, word for word trusted.
Yeah, so great moments in that episode, but some of the laziest, sloppiest writing I have ever seen in this series to date.
So, okay, so that's essentially that episode. I know more happens, like I said, we're trying to wrap up fast. And then we have the episode after that. We have Tarlok 2.0 is now going to try and bring...
T.0.
Yeah, to bring the evil Yang spirit back, and Korra's still holding on to her Yin spirit, you know, and they're gonna try and go and fight one another, and it just sort of setting up the next epised, really.
The only way to make Tarlok interesting, the writers finally figured it out, have him possessed by a more interesting villain. I'm like, well, that's one way to do it, I guess. I'll take it.
You got the fight between, you know, him and the brother, which is not, they had a backstory, but not much else, honestly, in the show.
That was another moment where I'm just like, yeah, that was another writing moment where I'm just like, oh yeah, remember these people?
Yeah,
remember her
brothers,
father?
yeah.
I'm like, he comes back just to get his ass kicked. Like, what?
At the very least, we know a little bit more Tarlock 2.0's plan, which makes a bit more sense. I guess it's just sort of a power-hungry thing, but I mean, again, it's just sort of like, okay. It's the, the Fire Nation King again. It's the Mark Hamill bad guy. It just rule the world. It worked once, and this is sort of an interesting, idea of bringing back the darkness and stuff, and him being merged with it. It's like, it's more interesting than it was before.
Let's be fair. I think, again, it's been a while. I think if I remember right, it was more, I think he's more of a spirit sympathizer.
Yeah, and that's
like
too.
It's not just that he wants power. I think he really has fallen on the side of the spirits to a point that he's become a zealot. Like somebody who's just like, no, spirits this, spirits that, we should give it back to the spirits, and is convinced of Klaatu Barada Niktu's, Vatu's cause.
But he's but okay, when you say 10,000 years of darkness, come on, you kind of know, all right, this guy might screw things a bit. This might be evil, but the spirit's gotta come in, and I'm gonna be his avatar. Cool, that's a nice perk.
Let me put it this way. I don't see it so much as a total power grab as someone who's drunk the Kool-Aid.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
And there is a difference.
Yeah, so
because I kind of liked that. I wish they had done more of that, but
yeah, they made it more interesting than what it was before. It was an okay mix, but
he's still not interesting.
Yeah, he's still a bore. And like I said, that episode is just setting that up. Yeah. I do love that artist formerly known as John Hughes, even in prison, even when he's just out himself, even when he's out himself as a bad guy, is still so much fun. He's still like, yeah, of course this is my prison. I had this cell set up just in case I was thrown in here. I had a feeling I'd get thrown in here. I mean, it's...
That moment was absolutely brilliant, and the fact that Julie is in there with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what the hell did she even do?
Nothing. He just needs an assistant.
Yeah, and names the
Varric,
yes.
His name.
I like the artist formerly known as John Hughes.
John Hughes?
Howard Hughes. As you've learned from these vlogs, I'm not very good with names.
Right. I'll get the blame, don't worry.
So that was good. I mean, I like that, although, as you pointed out, he kind of disappears.
No, and that's the funny thing, that's another, and particularly, I also have issues with the finale, but the previous episodes particularly have so many really great, solid moments, and I want to cheer, and I'm like really into it, and then we'll do things so random, like, that was one of them. I was like, oh, that scene is really cool where he's in prison, and now he springs into action. Like, or something happens, and I'm like, nothing. So I'm like, we spent that whole season.
Could be next season. Could be next season.
Okay, but I'm sorry, that's cheap. I hate it when comic book movies do that, where it's like, aha, we hinted at him in this season, or
at least build up that he really is going to play a big part in the next season, but it didn't bother me that much, honestly.
I guess it's just because he was such a more interesting villain. If we can even call him a villain.
If you can even call him a villain, yeah, that's what
he was such an interesting chaos character that to see that whole thing resolved with, and that was another thing. It's like, aha, I'm going to kidnap the president. No, that plan's going to go right. Bolin saves the day, which is cool, but then Varric gets put in prison. What is the point of all that? Like, what did this serve for the purpose of the plot?
I just like Varric.
I know, I do too, but
I like that he doesn't even know if he's a bad guy, he doesn't care, he's just into the new and the now and let's go, and I love he doesn't care. Okay. I used to really hate that he was a villain, but now it's like, I really like it.
But see, here's my problem. I love Varric. He actually is the best villain in the show for me, in season 2. But that's only one piece of the puzzle. You have to have a plot to go with him.
No, I mean everything else is
serving something.
Everything else is serving the cliches they have to have in the show that they feel they have to have with the cops, and the you've gone too far, put you in jail, and then nobody believes me.
But the thing is, it didn't lead anywhere except for. Okay, Bolin saves the day, that's cool, but that happens in the finale as well, so it doesn't lead anywhere except he hands them a battleship, which There's no other way you could have written that in somehow for them to get a battleship. And Mako, basically, we find out that Mako knows what he's talking about, which was a stupid plot thread.
Yeah, so it's segueing to plot points that aren't really needed.
Yeah.
You know. But all right, so that's those 2 episodes. And then we got the finale, which we should just treat as one. We got Tenzin and his siblings going into the spirit world to find his daughter. They're put in this prison, this sort of mind prison. Brilliant cameo with General Shao there. That was great.
I like literally just like applauded when I saw him there. Like,
yeah,
my wife and I were just
like
like,
that's.
yes.
And there's a strange part of me that actually likes that he didn't die. I don't know why, but it's like, no, we're gonna give a little bit more of a story to this, to what happens to this guy, because he was such a big character. Not one of my personal favorites, but I still like seeing that it's a real good ending for that character.
It's kind of a punishment fits the crime.
Yeah,
considering
exactly.
what he was trying to do to the spirits and the balance of the universe at the end of season 1. You know.
Yeah, and I love the idea of that prison. It's such a wonderful idea.
Yeah. It's very The Others, that fog that's around the house. Yeah, I really like that.
And for the most part, I like the way Tenzin gets out of it. Though, are we just assuming that Aang literally came in and helped him out there, or is it that he's mentally
I don't
telling
know.
us, I guess that's part of the fun. You don't know.
I kind of read that as
what?
Tenzin's own self as Aang, you know, projecting itself as Aang was telling him.
Yeah, so it's like but in that environment, that'd be tough to. I don't know. So open for interpretation.
That whole scene was brilliant. We got to see Iroh again.
Yeah, Iroh again is great.
We see the other Iroh later, but
yeah, he has sort of a bit part.
he just shouts fire.
Yeah, I would liked more with him, but maybe there was gonna be more. I don't know. But
no, we had to watch Mako try to solve a case that nobody.
You've gone too far, Mako.
Okay,
I knew it all along. Okay, but we're just gonna keep harping on that. But okay, so we got Korra goes in the spirit world, and Tyler 2.0 fuses with the Yang spirit. I'm gonna call nothing by its real name, and pretty much takes the spirit out of Korra, whips the shit out of it, and
whips the shit out of her connections to her past selves.
Yeah, which is a pretty brutal scene. I mean, you start watching like, oh,
it was like
when you
killing
just see
Johnny
them.
5. It's like, no!
Yeah, I mean, it was a needed brutal scene, and Korra, and now this 10,000 years of darkness spreads across the world, and
dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria!
So you got the bad spirit goes, and he's just this giant Godzilla monster now, like ripping apart the Aang statue.
Yeah, that's where I started.
And then Korra goes into the Tree of Memories, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
And
Yggdrasil, the world tree, the
fountain.
Yeah.
You know, where you need Hugh Jackman in
Deus
there.
Ex Foliage.
Nice. And goes in there, and I like the idea behind it. I like that. I like her going in. Well, although again, kind of what we had before. What am I without my powers? But here it's what am I without my identity? And
this was. I'm just gonna say it up front. My personal theory. This is the apology for the ending to season 1.
I
give them credit for that. I do. I still have issues altogether how this is working as a whole, but I'm like, no, okay, well at least when you did it this time, you know, it feels right.
And it's a good lesson, because I think you see so many people fall into this trap. I want to be the next this, or I want to be this because this person did that. And there's this idea, it's like, but these people did because that was their own thing.
And it's a concurrent lesson that both she and Tenzin learn. And while we're on that subject, the best hands down scene for me, and it's just a throwaway scene if you're just kind of watching it, but it's that scene where Tenzin and Korra are strategizing. They've just gotten beat up, the 10,000 Years of Darkness is starting, it's like, what do we do? You know, and Tenzin's throwing out Diaz, she's throwing out... They're working together! Yeah. And, it was such a great moment to just finally see that. I'm like, 2 damn seasons, and we finally got there where it's like, it feels like a spiritual leader, and his student. They're teaching each
And
other things. They're
they're both
lessons.
teaching each other things, and
And the way they strategize was as friends. Like, it's like, we have to do this together.
And
we have to
why
figure
do we have to
something
wait
out.
so long? And why do we have to go through these really forced moments to get this when we didn't need those forced
We'll
moments? This
talk
would have been
about
fine.
that,
Yeah, I mean, so,
yeah.
okay, well, we're getting sidetracked. So, hell, we're still just doing the recap.
I know. Well, a lot
Okay.
happened.
Okay, so
More
yeah,
than did in
four
most of the
episodes.
seasons.
Yeah, so goes in and Korra sort of finds her, her original inner spirit, which is, good. My only hang up is that I think it happened way too fast when she started. Again, something called the spiritual journey and stuff like that.
You
Just
mean
like,
it took,
boom, she's got
took
it.
Aang forever to figure out how to do things, and he needed a guru, and it takes Korra for 2 seasons to figure out how to do things, but Tenzin just says, hey, you should connect to your inner spiritual
Got it.
self. Yo!
The only thing I can figure, the only excuse I can kind of make for it
They
is
needed to
that,
wrap it up quickly.
well, and
Yes.
but Korra can go into the avatar state very quickly. That it is possible some people can just have this connection, or just born with that connection, and could go in. I mean, that's the thing. She can go in and out of sort of the spirit world very quickly, even though she herself is a hothead. But and that's sort of very.
I give it a barely pass.
Yeah, no. See, that's the thing, because I like
that really had me scratching my
Yeah, no,
head,
to me, it's more like, I mean, and you sort of think this, that, well, hey, isn't someone who's very spiritual and can connect with the spirit world and energy, and so shouldn't they be very calm and very relaxed, or very in control? And she oftentimes does not seem in control. So that's why the only thing I can figure to possibly make an excuse for it is that there are some people, I think we've known people like this too, who can have connections to something spiritual or something otherworldly and stuff like that, but they're not always in control either.
Well,
so
okay,
that's the only
if you
kind of
want to
weak
argue
excuse I
that
can
some
make.
people just get it or stumble
Or just
blindly.
have it.
I get that. But I haven't seen a lot of that in her character. For most part, it's just she doesn't get it. And then all of a sudden, she kind of does. But I mean, if you want to argue that,
It's a weak argument. I'm saying it is still
I'll give
a
it a
possibility.
barely pass. I think what I needed was, in my perfect world, probably kind of what was happening with the episode beginnings. Either rehash that or do some of that there, where she has a vision, or there's a struggle, or she has to figure it out.
Yeah, it's not an
In a
interesting
sort of
journey.
out of time and out of place. Like in her own head, like you could argue that doing this in meditation is its own time frame, so she can come back out of it.
Yeah,
and but some sort of journey. It's just she's sort of like,
Yeah.
all right, I got
okay,
this.
Boom, got it. Yeah.
I'm like,
I
That
agree.
was fast.
So she becomes Pacific Rim Korra. They go fight.
Jaeger Korra.
They go fight. Do some fun WWE stuff. She picks him up. Does this. I want to have a chair. But it's cool. It's pretty cool. Then the little Tensa's daughter comes in. I'm assuming. Because at first I thought it was like Harry Potter, I'm pointing my wand as hard as I can. It's like, I'm coming to glow, and that saves everything. But is she showing where her spirit is inside? Is that what she's doing?
I believe the idea is. I had to think about this hard, and then I was talking to it with my wife, and then we were discussing it, and then she was offering her own theories, and I believe the idea is that, remember, Rava can't be killed.
Yeah, so
You
she's
can never kill
inside him.
Yeah,
still.
basically she's just been swallowed as this pathetic little speck of light, but can't be destroyed, which is yin yang theory.
And
so
Korra's
it makes
looking for
sense.
her.
Yeah. So I believe Jinora is basically going in and pulling Rava out.
No, I think Korra goes in and pulls her out, but she comes in and glows, and then starts to glow inside.
So
of the bad
yeah,
spirit,
yeah,
so
the,
she can
basically
find
find her. Yeah, Jinora is like a guide. Which is cool. I like that whole idea. I don't think it was explained very well, but I like the idea a lot.
We figured it out, if that is what it is.
Well, I mean, you can argue that if we have to talk and discuss it, but come to some sort of conclusion, that maybe that's a good thing, because it's was interesting. So yeah, that I thought was actually really, really cool, and then...
Yeah, goes, saves her, Tarlock 2.0 is dead. The two siblings kind of... I don't know if it's really charming or really a flaw that they keep going back and forth between their motivations, the two twins, and then the romance with Bolin kind of goes back and forth. But again, it's like, is this really smart writing or phenomenally lazy?
I can't tell if it's smart because they're ironic characters, or if it's lazy because, no, we were supposed to take it seriously. It's like, if I don't take it seriously, I think it's hilarious and awesome.
Yeah.
If I'm supposed to take those two
I don't
characters
think we're
seriously,
supposed to.
yeah, then it's really lazy writing. So
Yeah,
I'll
kind of
give
goes
the
back and forth.
writers the benefit of the doubt and say we're not supposed to take them that serious.
Yeah, so Korra, once again, brings balance back, the 10,000 years, whatever, just goes back into its hole. And Korra, what I thought, I mean, here's where I'm like, okay, this is okay. This has come out okay, is she's about to close the portal and says, what if I don't stick to the friggin' status quo that so many shows, especially kid shows, like to stick to? And what if I leave this open? And what if hard times are coming and it's gonna suck, but you know what? It's worth it for the good that's gonna come in the end. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the spirit world open. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. The
yeah,
writers had a great idea.
And she said, and she makes it a little speech at the end. This is gonna be tough. This is gonna be difficult, but it's worth the change. We gotta get through it. This is evolving. This is going to the next step. And it cuts there. And I hear the next season is gonna be called Change, and I'm really looking forward to that season.
I'm really looking forward to it too. I just hope they get their act together.
Yeah. So this whole finale for me was. The last two episodes, what I'm talking about specifically, for me was, it was satisfactory, which is, I don't mean that necessarily as an insult because I didn't know how this finale was going to turn out because it's been such a rocky season. And when I saw it, I said, okay, this was good. I like what it amounted to. I didn't love it. I know it sounds like a pure critic. I liked it. I didn't love it. But the only reason I say that is because you got these big, giant spirits fighting each other, and I'm thinking, this should be gigantic and epic, and it kind of is. So I'm thinking to myself, what was missing?
Kind of lame.
I think for a show that's done so much, I don't mind it going this route, because it's like, it's the friggin' world and stuff like that, but what I realized watching, what I realized was missing, I know it's always like, don't draw comparisons to Avatar. The only reason I'm doing it is because I'm just saying this is something that happens to be a 2 and it was done right, is that in the finale of Avatar, you got Aang's battling the Phoenix King, whatever, and it's one battle, and it's really building up to it, and it's this one battle going on, and he figures out what he has to do and, applies it. And meanwhile, there's other stuff going on in the background too with other characters.
It's also a battle for his soul, which helps, because it's working on multiple levels.
And here you have, rather than having Korra doing this one battle, whether in the spirit world or in the city or whatever, and realizing something and finally coming to grips with it, there's about 4 or 5 different battles going on, different variations. She's won, she's defeated, she's won, she's defeated, and when it finally gets to that big one, at the end, it's sort of like, boy, I wish I could, I wish just this was there, one of these fights was it. Because then I can't rally around it as much when it keeps changing location. Now here's another lesson. Now here's another thing we've learned. Now here's another moment where she's failed. Now she's coming back and stuff. Especially with Korra, because I really feel like if you want to sum up the show in 5 seconds, it'd be like her saying, I'm the Avatar, I'm tough and strong, I don't need anybody. Oh no, I screwed up everything, I need somebody. I'm somebody, help me. Okay, now I'm strong again, and I've learned my lesson. And it's just, well, if there's another time I have to see her go, ooh, and then see her go, oh, and then, I'm just seeing it so much.
Well, this is part of the problem. I think you're dancing around it. Another reason the finale to Last Airbender worked is you had a set of characters that you have really got to know and really, really like. Every character in and out, and there was a progression, and they didn't deviate from their characters to a point where it took you out of the story, why are we doing this? Or why have we not seen this character forever? Why? It's just better written. And when you are so close to those characters and are able to make that connection, it makes a finale like that so much more important and meaningful. This really works, and I did love this finale because we're finally at a point where I've made that connection, but I don't have 2 seasons previous where that was done perfectly. In my opinion, overall, I think Season 1 did it better, and there were chunks of Season 2 that touched upon it, but not until right near the end. So it's like, we've been sitting here complaining about these things because the characters have been inconsistent, all over the map, basically just kind of just bad writing. But when you have characters that are strongly written and you have a progression and it feels natural, the characters feel organic, like they're not doing something out of character, it makes the payoff so much more better.
The only thing I can figure is that maybe because the side characters in this season were so strong and so entertaining that maybe they got too distracted by it, and maybe the fact that it still had to be a 13-episode season, maybe they just felt they had to squeeze in too much stuff when really they could just cut some stuff out.
Here's the weird thing, though. The side characters were really awesome and really entertaining. I totally give you that. I love them. They were also entirely pointless.
Exactly.
So you've not focused on your main plot to show us Varric, who is awesome, but it built up to nothing.
How awesome would it have been, honestly, if, like, you got that bit where Bolin is, talking with his, the turtle duck. I love that term now. And he has to kind of win her over, and he's kind of honest with it, and it's done for laughs, but at the same time I'm thinking to myself, what if this was kind of done seriously? What if this actually was one, like the same way that Toph and Sokka and stuff, they were going to fight the, those giant blimps and stuff like that, and I was so invested in that. What if they did something like that with these other two characters, and I really got invested, and they just sort of play for laughs? Why not, like you said, bring the side characters more into a crucial part of the story and not just sort of this side filler that's not really needed? So, yeah, I guess I like this finale, and I like that it did sort of come back, and it was doing new stuff, and it was big again. It felt big.
Yeah, my only two gripes, we talked about the speed at which she picks it up. Yeah. Which to me was way more Deus Ex Machina in a way than really having the tree there, or any of these other things that, the creators like to just drop in. But, because that one just didn't make any sense. I'm like, alright, well, you can argue there's just a tree there or whatever, but I was like, the way she picked up, I was like, I just can't get that. I'd say the second thing is, I read the writer's explanation for what happens, basically she connects with her sort of inner cosmic spiritual self. And I love the idea. I really, really like the idea. There's something off about the execution, and I think that's because I thought that it was kind of like a metaphor, and yet when you have giant blue version of Korra fighting Vaatu Pacific Rim style, it ceases to be a metaphor, and I'm just like, this just kind of looks like Pacific Rim or a monster movie, and I'm not saying it jumped the shark, but I watched it and I was like, yeah, that's cool, they're fighting, but it just felt kind of off. It was like, this is almost silly to me. Like,
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't see what you were talking about, but at the same time, you need something big, and we were demanding something big, and I know what you're saying is that big doesn't necessarily have to mean literally huge.
And overall,
it can be just big in character.
Bizarre as it was, because it was my first, I was like, wow, this is bizarre. It's a minor gripe. I actually, this is probably my favorite episode since Beginnings. And overall, I think it's really, 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 really strong. And does what the ending to Season 1, which for me was pretty good up until the last 5 minutes, where it was a total cop-out. And so at least they've learned their lesson, and it's like, okay, we get it. We're going to do this right this time. Korra is going to have a big epic battle. She's going to fight, but there's going to be sacrifice and loss. She will lose something and have to deal with it. So I couldn't be more happy about that.
It's, I was going to say it's kind of like Hunger Games too, but we'll get to that when we get to that, depending on when these come out, to start making up for mistakes of the first. So, yeah, the only other thing I'll talk about before we do our quick wrap-up at the end here is, you got this love triangle thing going on that I was happy didn't interfere as much, and I actually like how it ended.
Oh, thank God.
But, no, but at the same time...
What was the point?
When she says the line, we should break up for real this time, I go, if you have to say for real this time... That's not a good sign. And I like how it resolved itself, but it shouldn't have... It's like, if you feel you have to do it, because the writers, for whatever reason, they say they love love triangles, and just, I don't
But
get
they didn't
it,
write a
whatever.
good one.
Yeah, so if you gotta do it, you know, just one time through. Don't have it come back. Don't have it wish through and all this stuff, you know, just, honestly, if you took out the love triangle in the first season, and then just had what happened in this one happen, I actually would have been okay.
Well, and
The fact that we already did in the first season.
this is the biggest thing about the show. Like, because we were talking about we're going to wrap up 2 seasons into it now. Like, for me, this finale to season 2 felt like an awesome, great, happy ending to what has been a really bad road trip. Like, it's like you've been on this bumpy-ass road trip, annoyed, your family's getting on your nerves, it's like, this is hell, and then all of a sudden you're at Wally World and you have the greatest day of your life. So it's like, was it worth it? Well, it ended really well, so I guess now
It started well, too.
Yeah, well, okay, it started well, but all road trips start well. You're a few hours
Hooray,
out
we're
the door,
excited,
this is going to
and
be
then-
awesome, and then 5 days later with Clark W. Griswold, you're like, go to hell. So, season 1 was the opposite. That, to me, was like a really great, awesome road trip.
But then
a
Wally
fun
World is
journey,
closed.
And then Waterworld is closed.
Wally World,
World, yeah. Waterworld being closed would not be a problem. Wally World is closed. So I was like, well, I had a really great time, but that was such a disappointing ending, so which is better or worse? I don't really know. What bothers me is when you put these 2 seasons together, they don't mesh up. The more and more I'm looking at it, season 1 is becoming, unless they try to tie it all together in the next 2 seasons, season 1 is becoming more and more pointless by the minute.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I
like,
love season 1. This is not saying I don't like season 1, but the ramifications season 1 had, none of it carried over. It's almost like season 2 has been a sort of reboot.
Yeah, I mean,
Right down to the ending.
Yeah, even down to, we're gonna take this, we're segueing into another season, and it's pretty obvious that we are, but not in an annoying way, like, you know, I don't know, there's Loki on the throne or something like that. It's like, you know, no, it's that this is, you know, it could end here if they wanted, but the possibilities are so good, and they are obviously going to tie it in, and I'm sure it'll be interesting. So yeah, for me, I think it started off good, it ended good. I didn't quite hate the middle as much, but it was annoying. That rockiness, and especially what they did with Korra's character, just got so frustrating, and so many of the diversions. But it was still, a lot of those diversions were fun, and I like what it amounted to, so it is really rocky, but I'm just glad it came to a nice conclusion, and that it did finally give some stuff that I'm like, yes, I'm glad I saw this. I'm glad they gave us the spirit world and these tie-ins and stuff like that, and I'm glad they, after so long, did finally evolve a character, and evolve the world too, which I like it. I like where they're going with the spirit thing, and what's going to happen with that, so I'm just glad it finally found its way and didn't just lead down like a black hole or a really disappointing.
No, and I mean, that's the thing. I really, 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 really love where we are. I love Korra as a character. I love Tenzin. I love Bolin, Mako. All of these characters now have come into their own, and I am totally willing to spend 2 more seasons with them. I have a much better idea of who they are.
Well, if they don't...
But the thing is, why did it have to take so long, and why, to get to this point that I so love, did we have to wander around in circles for a whole season? Could we not have done this in a more tightly written, straight-shot way to get us to this point?
The conclusion she comes to at the end with the spirit world is a very mature even challenging conclusion, because this is a big change for the world, and it's not a little thing. Why did the progression she had to go through be a repeat of the first one, instead of really diving into what we kind of delve into when she went to the spirit world and stuff like that? Just expand it out, really dive into this stuff and explore it. Because there is more to explore. You don't have to retread and make her, you know, just nothing but a hothead that learns nothing.
Part of the answer, to be honest, is Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon.
You know, I did hear somewhere, and this is total internet hearsay, you know, they put it on a picture with quotes, so I mean it must be real, but what I've heard a few times is that they were really afraid of doing a Korra show because they were afraid that boys wouldn't like a show where the girl is the main lead and stuff.
Oh my god!
Okay, now, to be fair, they are Nickelodeon. They dealt a lot with kids, so I'm sure they got the numbers and they know the rankings and stuff like that. But at the same time, when they showed the show, all the boys didn't give a crap. They're like, she kicks ass. We love this character. And B, yeah, you gotta sort of say, really? You're Nickelodeon. You can and have changed this. You know,
did they forget that the first Avatar had so many great female characters?
Yeah, but not the lead. So it's like, no, but you can do this. And
no, the lead was an effeminate little boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's your macho stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. But what I was getting to with that is could that possibly have translated into her? It's like, we need more action scene with her because that's what's keeping our boy audience, is that she likes to beat stuff up and everything.
It's not, okay.
That's the only thing I can sort of figure maybe with why they keep having her go back to the same spot.
No, here's what I think happened. I mean, let's imagine you're writers. We're going to greenlight one season. What about after that? So you
throw it all in there.
You're put into a situation. Let's throw it all in there. Well, how do we end this thing? Well, we can't Terminator 2 end this thing with big and ambiguous, because if it just ends here, people are going to be like, well, what the unsatisfied? So, it was a happy ending. So, season 1.
Now you have a season 2.
Hey, we got season 2. Oh, and you're going to need to do 2 more seasons out of this. Well, now what? I mean, that's really pretty much...
I disagree. I think you can
No. Let me finish.
Okay, I thought you were...
No, let me finish. That's half the problem. The other half is, now you have to really put on your thinking cap as a writer and be like, okay, well, we did all this in season 1. How do we continue this story? And they didn't. They just were like, I don't know, season 1, chuck it behind their back, and we're just going to do this all over again and start from sort of square one. And that's what really bothered me about this season. I was like, there's no reason to go back, to square one with this. There's no reason for all the diversions and running around in circles.
And another element, they do move forward with the idea of the spirits, but you're right, the rest of the story is just such a retread.
The spirits that were only in it for, keep in mind, the spirits.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
7 episodes to get there, and a lot of it was Varric's plot. And,
what I'm saying is that the idea to evolve it, was there. It wasn't like a total retread, but it was that they spent so little time on that, or not enough time, I should say, and instead too much time on what made the first one successful, when I don't think that's what a lot of people wanted to see, or at least not what we wanted to see.
I don't know, what made the first one you mean Last Airbender, or...
No, Korra.
What made the first season successful was it was a tightly wound, well-paced, different political thriller that went from point A to point B. I know you hated the bending thing, but it did connect to the plot, and quite frankly, it still was a part of it. There was not a lot of filler for me in there. The villain, who originally takes her away, ties into the whole story at the end, helps give away all the plot points at the end. It all wraps up in a neat tight bow, and yes, the last 5 minutes of it sucked, but that's what made it successful. And that's what really has me scratching my head, is this one, for such a great ending and a couple of really great additions to the mythology, got everything else wrong. It's like, this is a meandering, poorly paced, everywhere, 14 different stories going on at once, only half of which even bother wrapping up.
I keep thinking, if I could take, if I could just take, the opening and just cut, and then, take, beginnings, little trimming here, and then that ending, it's like we'd have a really solid
quite frankly,
season.
I could take the things I liked in season 1 and mesh it with season 2, and take out the crappy ending of season 1 and half of the filler somewhere in season 2 and mesh them together. This would be a perfect show.
Yeah, this would be up there with Avatar. But as is, again, I'm glad we can have this discussion at all with a Nickelodeon show and talk about yin and yang and philosophy.
Even season 2, for all its problems, is still hands above most things out there right now.
I mean, animated or live action. And
we complain really at people.
You guys complain to me. Why are you begging me watching the show, asshole?
I love your angry voice.
That's what they sound like when they're typing. But it's like we complain because we care. No, it sounds silly, but because because we really like the show.
We dare because we care.
Yeah, and because, quite frankly, they're doing really good things. This is still a step above the rest, and if we don't make it known that, yeah, these things bother us and you can do better, they'll just be like, well, what the fuck? Like, you know,
Just saying they can repeat it like they did parts of this, so...
Yeah, so, I mean, I say these things because I think they do really, really good work, and yeah, there's some missteps, and I'm just saying, hey, if you can improve on this, then Season 3 is going to be even better, and...
Yeah, still, much love. Much love. That's all I want to get across, because, I mean, it is so easy to say what we don't like and how to fix things, but I mean, I think so many people online can take that as, oh, you didn't like it. No, it is so much of what's good about this.
Finale,
we wouldn't be able to talk about this if we just didn't like it and there was nothing to talk about.
It's still entertaining, even with the side
still
plots.
entertaining,
I'm like, they were entertaining.
Yeah, and
they went somewhere, but they were entertaining.
And there's so many smart elements. It's how well it's always how can we utilize as much as we can out of that. So yeah, that's about it. I think we both sort of had the same thought on Season 2, you know, very rocky ride, but started
ended well.
Ended good, you know, and it came together much better than we thought it was going to, at the least, especially just with the rocky road it was going there. So, that's about it, and we'll see you at Season 3. Later.